Are you worried about the state of the nation's dental health?
Yeah, I think it is a really big problem. Obviously, as you've said, the NHS got a big backlog, and the pandemic has really added to that, with kind of increasing waiting lists and people having trouble being able to access dentists. So, yeah, there are a lot of problems in the dental health service at the moment.
And in the course of the pandemic, 2.5 years, people have ignored issues with their teeth because they maybe didn't want to leave the house, or they didn't want to go to a dental surgery, or perhaps the dental surgery wasn't welcoming. It's the same with GPs. People thought, well, unless I'm half dead, I'm not allowed to go. Whereas actually, in many cases, surgeries were open, but people didn't go.
Yeah, that's the thing. And also, I think during the pandemic, people were like snacking a lot more. So they're increasing their sugar intake. Maybe they're not kind of brushing as much as they used to, and missing dental checkups and dental cleanings, obviously. So all of that adds up.
So, yeah, the visit to the dental hygienist, these regular checkups. And the whole issue with teeth is that if you ignore some mild pain, you're building up problems for the future, aren't you?
That's the thing, yeah. So it's much better to find a problem early, and then it can be fixed with, perhaps it's a small filling, rather than ending up with a root canal or extraction, which obviously everyone wants to avoid.
So, yeah, so it's a case of nipping it in the bud. A small cavity can be filled, problem solved. Leave it 6 months, and you could be thousands of quid's worth of damage done.
Exactly, yeah. Obviously, it's a money saving as well by going early. You can get it fixed, but rather than turning into something more serious and they need to shell out more money.
Now, I know you guys are the elites, but what is your overview about the state of dentistry in Britain? Does it work with this sort of hybrid system of some NHS practices and other private practices? Is it fit for purpose?
Well, there's a lot of debate over that. We all believe in the NHS, and it's really important that we have a service which is accessible and something for everybody. So we've also got, in the hospital, dentistry as well for removal of wisdom teeth and certain things like that. So that's really important that there's something for everyone. But obviously, we also have private dentistry as well for more complex things. So the only problem at the moment is that the NHS funding has been cut. As everybody knows, it's been well publicised. The surgeries are really backed up and the waiting list. So right now, maybe it's not as fit for purpose as it has been.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, as with the NHS itself, the pandemic has shone a light on the weaknesses of the system, and now it's overwhelmed, close to breaking point. People are waiting weeks on end, sometimes months, for dental treatment, and some people cannot get on the books of a dental practice.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real problem. We advise everybody to have like 6 monthly checkups, and I think you might have heard these stories of DIY dentistry. That's a real problem. People not being able to access a dentist, so they're taking matters into their own hand. People trying to do their own extractions and trying to fix their own teeth. So, this is a real problem and something that needs to be addressed. And I think that, the political, there's a lot of political pressure on them to kind of address the problems in dentistry at the moment.
Well, yes, and it's money well spent, because if you don't look after your teeth, that opens up myriad other health problems, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing, because with the teeth, if you have teeth infections, that can actually go into the bloodstream, and it can cause problems with the heart and other systems. And also, if you have gum disease that's untreated, that can also cause problems with.
Yes, and I was reading about a link between flossing and reducing the risk of heart problems.
Yeah, that's because flossing is interdental cleaning, that's for your gums. And if you have gum disease or gum problems, then that can lead to problems with your heart. So that's why it's so important.
It's all connected. Exactly. We're going to bring my panel in a moment to see how we can fix these issues, because, I've got so many viewers that are having trouble getting appointments. It's also, if the kids need an orthodontist, that's another problem as well. Sometimes you've got to wait a year, 2 years, plus the prices have gone up. But let's talk about your amazing practice. You work with lots of celebrities and other members of the public.
Yes.
On the cosmetic side, what do you do?
So cosmetic, there's lots of interesting things that people want to do cosmetically, dentistry-wise. Obviously, teeth straightening is one, and that happens with adult orthodontics as well as child. And
does that mean that you'd have to have rail tracks like an adult? Would they have to look like an American teenager?
Not always. Some people do have mental braces, but there's also aligners to clear aligners to straighten teeth.
So they're on all the time, but you don't see them?
Exactly. And also there's ceramic brackets, so clear brackets and wires. And then there's even braces inside the teeth. That's called lingual orthodontics.
So you do all of that. And I mean, we get jokes about, don't we, in the UK, that we've got bad teeth. The Americans always say that we've got bad teeth. Do we?
Well, I think historically, maybe yes, but I think, British attitudes are changing, and you can see a nice smile there, which is good.
Well, I don't want you to see too much of my teeth, because I'm sure I forgot to floss this morning.
Well, everybody should be flossing as much as possible. But, I think we're actually, attitudes are changing. People are becoming more aware. Obviously Americans historically had, took a lot of care in their dental health, but I think the British are now coming on to being aware of dental health.
So you do that, you do teeth whitening as well?
Yes, teeth whitening.
And how does that work?
So basically, there's lots of different ways, starting from a simple cleaning, obviously like a cleaning and polishing. And then there's teeth whitening gels that we use. That can be done in clinic with light activation, or it can be done with trays at home.
And is that UV light?
Yeah, it's actually in the blue wavelength. It's just below UV.
And the teeth stay white?
Well, if you look after them, they stay white. So again, it's still important to brush them regularly. It's important to see the dentist and hygienist regularly, and trying to avoid like red wine, black coffee, black tea, those things.
Oh, God, you've lost me there. I was about to book an appointment. No, look, I'm sure it is brilliant, because you've got lots of very happy clients, including those big names that I mentioned. Is there any risk to the bleaching, for example? Can that weaken the tooth at all?
The thing which we always say is some people buy products off the internet and you don't know what's in them. That's a really important thing. And it's unregulated. So those products that you buy off the internet, they can potentially have bleaches that are not dental grade, or they could have products that can strip enamel. And so we don't advise that. If you go to a dentist and have dental grade whitening, then there's a lot of clinical research, they're safe products, so, that's absolutely safe.